Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are
We'll
area.
give it another 1 minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. This morning, I mean, yeah, in US time this morning, we have gone through this elementals.
Correct. No, that was helpful.
Yeah, that's
It gives us so much.
we have
I
an
mean,
idea.
we didn't know that the unit of fire, before it becomes fire, what it was, came out
Yes.
very clearly when we went through that, not only fire, what is air, what is, right, all the components, they came out very clearly for our understanding. We were lucky, I should say.
Yeah, basically
This
he
is
said,
a recording, right? Because
Yeah, I'm just recording.
okay, because no,
It's
yeah,
already shared. It's already
okay.
shared.
I wanted to join, but that was the same time that I was doing that Anapanasati for everybody. So
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe
okay,
we can start.
okay. Area of elementals versus thoughts. Up to the time when the breath form puts elementals and thoughts in touch with the feeling in the voluntary nervous system, in the kidneys, the procedure is the same. But after that, a distinction must be made between the areas of elementals and that of thoughts. That means after the kidneys, it going into the kidneys. Up to the time when the breath form puts elementals and thoughts in touch with the feeling in the voluntary nervous system, in the kidneys, the procedure is same, but after that distinction, after that means going into the kidneys, the feeling of feeling and desire.
Can
Does
you
it
close
mean
the door, please? Recording outside. No, I was telling someone, sorry. I should have muted. I'll keep myself in mute. Things. Yeah. So yesterday also, when we were going through yesterday night India time, right? Thoughts, the elementals, they are powered by thoughts, but after they have what do you call reached their end of the chain, they become sorry, elementals, they become thoughts. That's what he had said. Right?
Yes,
the same thing
but
is getting clarified here.
yeah, but here he says, okay, in the kidneys, until the kidneys, it is the procedure is same, but after that, so does he mean that after getting into the kidneys, then the procedure differs?
So, it starts as desire for us. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Till desire, it is elementals. It is element of fire, element of air, element of water, and so on.
Yes.
Right? And then they become feelings, and they trigger the desire.
Okay.
Correct. Now, that desire within the human body, it starts at the left kidney. And then it moves up into the heart.
Yes.
Right? That is
And
where
then
it gets in touch with right and reasoning.
Yeah, right and reason. Yes.
Rightness and reason.
Yes.
If it meets that requirement of rightness and reason, depending upon the individual and depending upon his level of consciousness. His level of consciousness, then, right, I mean, he is able to decipher between his greed or the power of the desire, which is the body mind, or should he stop it there, depending upon his conscience.
Yes.
Otherwise, he will issue that and that will go into the astral environment,
Yeah,
which is your emotional body.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The emotional body will seek clarity by taking it to the mental body.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes up to the Manomaya Kosha.
Yes.
In the Manomaya Kosha, the light is available. Partial or this one based upon the Vijnanamaya Kosha.
Hmm.
Okay. That comes into the Manomaya Kosha. And in the Manomaya Kosha, the next step, once that light has become a thought,
Okay.
and from the thought it has become an idea, that means that has gathered more light and there is absolute clarity. The
So,
gravity of the Manomaya Kosha will not be able to hold it. So it will have to come through.
Okay, I just have a question. So until it reaches the mental atmosphere, so it is only a unit. It doesn't. Okay, then it becomes a thought in the mental atmosphere.
No, see, it is going as a thought only. They say, what do they say? They say thought is electrical.
Mm-hmm.
It is going as a signal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then it has to be attracted back by the human being into the physical world by means of magnetism.
Mm.
See, I mean, it is not only magnetic force, it is gravitational force. All these things play a role.
Okay. So in yeah.
And then the density, as the density increases, the weight will increase, the mass will increase. The subtle
thought.
environments will not be able to hold them.
Okay.
So, as the subtle environment, as it becomes heavy, it will start moving downwards into the physical reality.
Mm. So that's what he meant. Okay. Okay. The thought becomes heavy. In that mean
Correct.
that
The thought becomes clear, and there is the force of attraction acting on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is the feeling with which we pull that. In a manifestation cycle, that is what happens.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and all these people have been saying is, don't use this manifestation technique for anything materialistic.
Yes, yes. Even Percival also, at the end, last chapter, he said same thing.
Correct. I mean,
Clearly he
you
mentioned.
can create all this. And the same thing, even in that book on intuition and chakras, right? You can create what you require, not greed. The moment it goes in, it will go into the excessive spin, and that will create a problem of its own kind. Okay. So that is how this entire movement will take place. Now, if we really look at it, area of elementals versus thoughts. So how are elementals, which is the, forget all the names that we read yesterday, except for air. Right?
Yeah.
What is the element of air? What is the element of fire, and so on? Because he says what? Something with S is for air, for water, all those characteristics up to the time when the breath form puts elementals and thoughts in touch with feeling. That means till they go up to the feeling state in the voluntary nervous system. So this is happening in the voluntary nervous system, not in the involuntary nervous system.
Yes.
Right? That is in the kidneys.
Mm.
So what he is talking about, from the triune self, whatever are these energies, they are all meeting at the kidneys, the nature side and the intelligent side.
Okay. Yes. Because that is the way the desire starts.
That is where the entire mechanism will start.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The procedure is the same, but after that, that means after they meet in the kidneys, then, right?
Yes.
A distinction must be made between the area of the elementals and that of thoughts.
Okay. So
Okay.
after coming out of
So
kidneys,
basically, another way to look at it is after they meet at the kidneys,
yeah,
the nature side and the
separate
the
intelligence
intelligence
side.
side, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We have to make a distinction after that. Till then, the procedure is the same.
Same. Okay.
The procedure will undergo a change after that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us proceed.
Okay. When elementals have come into touch with the feeling aspect of the doer, they act from the kidneys where they are, however, not felt.
They are not felt at the kidneys.
Yeah.
Because as organs, kidneys cannot feel. They only do their function.
So in the heart, when they come
No,
to
he's
the
explaining
heart,
further. Let us not
yes.
jump
They
the gun.
travel along the sensory nerves of the voluntary system. Okay, so they travel along the voluntary system nerves. There they are the sensations in the parts to which they are attached. They dance and play and sport, so to speak, on the nerves there. The doer feels their action and they share in that feeling. They produce the sensations. They are the sensations as long as they are in touch with the feeling. So basically, how the sensation occurs, he's saying.
Correct.
See, okay. When, the sensations mostly produced are of sensual and simple elemental kind. So these sensations are mainly sensual and simply elemental kind, simple elemental kind.
Because, see, in the earlier section, even yesterday when we were reading, he says that becomes touch, that replicates touch. What we were doing yesterday night, your time, right? They become touch, smell as touch.
Yes.
Correct. So
that's
that
what
is how
sensual.
we have to read. Yes.
Yeah.
See, fortunately for us, what we are reading in the chapter 8 and 9 is getting replicated in chapter 4. So we are able to really appreciate both the components very clearly.
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
Right.
Okay, they affect the nerves in the pelvic and the abdominal sections. Okay. And then elementals come because they want fun, activity, sensation, and excitement, and they want to come under the light of intelligence. So they affect the nerves in the pelvic and abdominal sections, okay, from the kidneys, okay. And then
these are all the sensations that are affecting all those parts. Now, for a moment, also think pelvic is Muladhara Chakra.
Yes.
Right? Abdomen is Swadhisthana and Manipuraka Chakra.
Yes.
Okay. So all these sensations impact and are influenced by these three chakras.
Yes, and they want to come under the light of intelligence. So these are sensations.
So they want to manifest that.
Yeah.
They want to exteriorize those feelings.
Yes. They will swarm into one's body when his psychic and physical atmospheres permit. So
now,
when
what is this psychic and this one permitting? The astral body coming via the spinal cord, wherein the noetic plane is touching your pineal gland and pituitary gland. The knower is there. I mean, the knower. Then the thinker, he is coming to the heart domain. Right? The doer is in the kidneys. Right?
Yes.
So those sensations, both from the nature side and the
intelligence side,
both meet at the kidneys.
And then they will
exactly. So now
go into all over the body.
Correct.
Into the psychic and physical atmosphere. Permit.
So now in one's body, they will swarm into one's body when his psychic and physical atmospheres permit. That means when they are given adequate focus in terms of these sensations that are getting generated in that environment, within those organs, and from the organs it is going into the nerves.
Correct. Without interference. Yeah.
Correct.
These atmospheres always permit one or another species to enter.
Correct. So there are no
Therefore,
gates there. He is saying it will permit, but those gates are again monitored by the individual minds. We have 7 minds, right?
yes.
Mind of the knower in terms of knowledge and identity, mind of the thinker in terms of rightness and reason, mind of the doer, in terms of desire and feeling,
and body mind.
the body mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore, elementals are always in the body. What kind can come in, and the length of time they may stay in the body depends on one's thinking. Okay, so it all
That
depends
means
upon.
now energy is required for it to be triggered.
Yes.
Once
So
thinking,
the more and more
that energy. Correct.
Yeah, the more and more he thinks, if he gives more focus, then it's
more focus and so on.
Yes.
Right.
Elementals want continuous sensation.
Correct.
One sensation cannot last long. It has to give way to another. It matters not to the elementals whether the sensations are pleasant or unpleasant to the human. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether they are pleasant or unpleasant, they just take it.
Correct.
They are as much thrilled by pain as by pleasure. They leave a body when they are crowded out by other elementals or when thinking shuts them out.
Okay, so that means their movement can be monitored by our voluntary nervous system and not the involuntary nervous system. Involuntary nervous system, it will continue. The sensations will continue. Yeah.
Yes. See, voluntary is, thinking constantly about that, focusing.
Correct. Only through your conscious mind can we bring
with
about
awareness.
control.
With awareness,
or
yes.
We can move it wherever we want. That is how we act on our sankalpa to take it to the end.
Yes.
To exteriorization, when I say end. Or we, at the heart region, wherein rightness and reason, we curtail it, saying no more. Right? It's not really helping me progress. My basic objective of life is I have to make progress.
Yes.
All this materialistic stuff, etc., is for me to survive. I don't need them beyond survival.
Yes, after you learn the lessons, you don't need anymore.
You don't need it anymore. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Okay. The feeling caused by the actions of elemental starts desire, which is a continuous as the sensations. Desire carries the impressions into the mental atmosphere. It reaches that in the heart with which a portion of the thinker of the triune self is in contact. Desire, the active side of the doer, rushes to the passive side of the thinker and rightness. Through the heart, the blood and the nerves flow a stream of desires aroused by elementals. See here,
so it is a continuous. See, even the circulation is because of that energy that is moving along with it. If it is life energy, it is life energy. But if it is the broken down, it is the 10 vayus and upavayus, then those particular things will create the impact. Yes.
So through the heart, the blood and the nerves flows a stream of desires aroused by elementals. The desire comes from the psychic atmosphere with the intake of breath and enters the heart with arterial blood from the lungs. So the desire comes from the psychic atmosphere. Yeah.
See, desire is coming back from the mental atmosphere. That means desire is further get. But then initially when it goes and touches the kidneys through the venous system,
Yes.
right? It
Yeah.
goes into the heart.
Mm.
Okay. There it is getting cross-checked for the rightness and
Rightness.
reason. Then
Mhm.
it is being released into the mental atmosphere through the psychic atmosphere.
Mm.
It is coming back.
From the
It
psychic.
is coming back from the mental atmosphere and through the psychic atmosphere. It is coming and getting in touch with the intelligent side.
Mm.
So that
Okay, got
entire
it.
circuit is being done from that perspective.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The desire comes from the psychic atmosphere with the intake of the breath and enters the heart with arterial blood from the lungs.
Now,
When
what is happening to arterial blood? It is already purified blood.
purified. Yeah.
Okay, now it is going towards all the organs. It is circulating through the system.
Yeah. So there, then it goes, the desire also goes there.
Correct.
When the sensory nerves of the voluntary system are affected by feeling in the kidneys, when the sensory nerves of the voluntary system are affected by feeling in the kidneys, they start the motor nerves.
Now, why do we need, why does the...
Motor nerves is action.
Exactly.
Connecting with the adrenals and reaching the heart.
Correct.
With the nerve action, there is a flow of secretions from the adrenals to the heart. So with the nerve action, there is a flow of secretions from the adrenals to the heart. The motor nerves from the adrenals affect the sensory nerves of the heart, which belongs to rightness, the passive side of the thinker. Okay.
See,
and then the action.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting to note here. The power of this rightness and reason is in action right through the entire functioning. See, one stage, step one, is when that thought occurs to us. Step two, when that thought is being converted to action, the return path.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Even there, even after issuing a thought, there is a way of curtailing it. That is what he is trying to explain. Yeah, continue.
The motor nerves from the adrenals affect the sensory nerves of the heart, which belongs to rightness, the passive side of the thinker. The action causes a mild emotion of approval or disapproval, which is the response of rightness. If no action is taken against these impressions, feeling and desire begins to work. Some of the motor nerves of the heart and lungs belonging to the thinker, and these communicate back to the sensory nerves of the voluntary system in the kidneys, which belongs to the doer. So if there is no action is taken, it goes back to the kidneys of the doer.
Correct.
In case if it approves either rightness or reasoning, then it goes into the circulation system.
Correct. Now, if no action is taken, it will get expelled into the environment through our breathing, through the natural process.
Yeah. See, if no action is taken against these impressions, feeling and desire begins to work some of the motor nerves of the heart and lungs belonging to the thinker, and these communicate back to the sensory nerves of the voluntary system in the kidneys, which belongs to the doer.
Correct. Let's go further.
Some of the nerves of the lungs, which belongs to reason, the active side of the thinker, are then concerned with the feeling. The flow from the feeling and desire of the doer to rightness and reason of the thinker and back to feeling, that is from the kidneys and adrenals to the heart and lungs and back to the kidneys, is passive thinking. So basically, yeah, from kidneys, when it is going to the heart, it is active, while going back, it is passive.
Correct. Now, what is passive thinking? That is the next.
Yeah, passive
is
thinking.
Is everyone clear with what we have gone through?
Chandragaru, I have one question. It's a
Yes, sir.
motor nerve. Motor nerve is the same as a motor neuron, right? That's the movement
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
care of that.
No,
Okay,
no,
thank you.
neuron is one type of a cell. Okay. Now, all nerves are a series of the what do you call the pathways, which you may call a tube or whatever it is, that is carrying this signal. They are all basically transmitters and receivers
Yes. Like a electric current.
Thank you.
throughout the body.
Thank you.
Exactly. So they take those impulses, and those impulses get carried away. That is why we experience them as waves. When we are very, very conscious, as we meditate more and more, you can actually feel the movement of those impulses within the body. The only thing that happens is like we emote as anger and all, because our consciousness somewhere, because of the ill practices of all these years, right? They become part of the behavioral system that we exteriorize, the behavior pattern, right? Those are all the emotions, the habits and all. But as designed, they are not supposed to be that way. Are you getting what I'm trying to communicate?
Yep. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, passive thinking. Passive thinking is the play of desire and mind. That is to say, the play of desire in the light of intelligence, which is diffused in a part of the mental atmosphere.
Correct.
Okay. So it is haphazard, purposeless. That is the passive thinking. It is haphazard, purposeless, unintentional, random thinking, which fills nearly all the waking hours of the run of human beings. It is produced by pictures, sounds, tastes, odors, and contacts which strike the four senses, and by elementals which enter the openings of the body. It goes on without sequence, without reasoning, and it changes with each new impression that comes into the body. That is how, before coming into meditation, how it happens, all this, haphazard, purposeless, whatever you see, you feel like getting it, through our sensations. So that is what he says, it is passive thinking, using our
Yes.
senses.
Correct.
By this flaccid and aimless thinking, a little of the light that is found in the mental atmosphere is drawn off into nature by elementals as they leave through the openings. Only feeling and desire are concerned in this kind of thinking.
Correct.
Okay, because of this aimless thinking, only a little light that is around found in the mental atmosphere is drawn, because others are all obscured because of thinking.
No. Also, in the mental atmosphere, very little light will be available because our psychic environment,
Yeah.
with its conclusions, clouds that environment completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why he says produced by pictures, sounds, tastes, odors, and contacts, strikes. Yeah. By this flaccid and aimless thinking, a little of the light that is found in the mental atmosphere is drawn off into nature by elementals as they leave through the openings. Only feeling and desire are concerned in this kind of thinking. Passive thinking leaves impressions on the breath form. Active thinking. So when these become strong enough, a different kind of thinking is started. When these become strong means the
When
active
these
thinking.
impressions
Okay.
become strong.
Okay. So when these become strong enough, a different kind of thinking is started. When an impression is marked distinctly and deeply enough, it suggests the subject of the thought for which it stands. If this is in accord with reason, reason directs the light of intelligence on the subject of the thought. So that is how, how it works, the active thinking. The eyeness of the knower is a witness to the thinking. Thus, passive thinking may induce and compel active thinking. So this is how it happens. The passive thinking is inducing and compels active thinking. So active thinking is most important. So that is where the I-ness of the knower is a witness to the thinking.
No, I-ness is observing because
Yeah.
I-ness has to identify what is happening.
That's why it says witness. Yeah,
Correct.
it's observes.
Witness means he cannot, he
Observe.
is
No,
passive
no.
basically.
Yeah, he's passive. Yeah. The motor nerves of the voluntary nervous system in the heart and lungs act on the sensory nerves in the pituitary body and the cerebrum, and the motor nerves from the hemispheres of the cerebrum react on the sensory nerves in the heart, which starts again the motor nerves in the heart and lungs. I think you need to explain a little bit more for the audience, otherwise it's. Chandragar, you want to explain this?
Which one?
The one I just read, the motor
Yeah.
nerves of the voluntary nervous system in the heart and lungs.
Right.
From
let us
there
look
it
at
goes to
this.
pituitary. Yeah.
Correct. See, the motor nerves of the voluntary nervous system in the heart and lungs act on the sensory nerves in the pituitary body. See, these are all the neurons that are getting fired. So they talk about the neurons and the synaptics. Synaptics is when the connection and the stored impulses are then triggered, like what Dangi sir was asking in a little while ago.
Yeah.
Right? So now they are all. No, pituitary gland is part of the cerebrum, right?
Cerebrum, yeah.
And also the closer to the. So now pituitary gland is going to trigger the endocrine system.
Yes.
Okay.
Releases different hormones.
And then from there, those neurons will get fired, which are controlling the motor nerves. Okay. Which are then connected to the hemispheres of that means the what do you call our
right and left
brain
right
and
brain,
right
left brain
that we call it, correct,
yeah.
Right? So that the appropriate motors are triggered, because what's on the left side, they control the right side of the body, and vice versa. Both the hemispheres come into picture. They react on the sensory nerves in the heart. Why? Because the heart has to generate the emotional energy required for the action to take place.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Which start again the motor nerves in the heart and lungs. So it gets processed in our brain, and then that comes back to the emotion, so that can then be released to the adrenal, which will generate the fight or flight or those action signals for the appropriate movement of those components. There's a lot of coordination between all the
parts, yes.
nerves, right?
Yeah, all the
that
nerves.
Means firing of all the neurons, and it is a continuous process. That is what he has explained.
Yes. By this continuing process, certain thinking on the subject of thought is urged on by desire, and an effort is made to focus light. This is active thinking. See, that is what he's explaining, how it happens, the active thinking. By continuing this process, yeah. So certain thinking on the subject of the thought is urged by desire, and an effort is made to focus the light. So during this process,
the best understanding that we can all draw is close our eyes and take a scenario in which actions have been involved by us, right? We have performed certain actions. Just close your eyes and revisit that impartially from a signaling point of view and the triggering point of view, and the action getting done. In between these, the nervous system, the sensory nerves are giving you feedback. That feedback also is then being processed, right?
Yeah.
And that processing is then utilized for changing the reactions, changing the thoughts, creating the passive thoughts, creating the active thoughts, creating the acceptance.
Yes.
Right? All those smaller
And then
neurons get
affirmations.
fired.
Affirmations also, it induces active thinking.
Yeah, everything does that. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautifully, he has taken us through stepwise. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, from the passive thinking, we can convert into we can convert into active thinking. He explained. It continues for a short time only, is intermittent, and is the effort to hold the diffused conscious light of intelligence steadily on a given subject of thought. See, that is what we had to be, without getting diffused, we need to focus getting the light of intelligence steadily. Through active thinking, thoughts are produced by the union of desire and an impression of nature with the light of intelligence. So then the thoughts are produced by the union of the desire and the impression of the nature with the light of intelligence. In passive thinking, thinking merely plays in the light, but by active thinking, the light is sought to be held on the subject of the thought. See, passive thinking, we don't focus, so it doesn't make any imprint.
It doesn't have energy enough to
Yeah.
convert it to anything beyond.
Yes. In passive thinking, thinking merely plays in the light, but by active thinking, the light is sought to be held on the subject of the thought. During this effort, a thought is conceived when light unites with the desire, that is with the subject of thought.
Correct. That means basically you are giving more energy to that particular parameter.
Yeah. So here desire means, suppose if you want to buy a particular car, you imagine that you focus light onto that.
See, that will get converted to a sensation. That sensation, yeah, correct.
Yeah,
it will travel as feeling, right?
Yeah.
It will travel as thought in the first part. Once the clarity is there, right? Then maybe your rightness and reasoning will take a call in terms of whether it is required, whether you should do it now, is that a priority? All these are the practical way of looking into the same points that he has made.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And here, when he says it's a union of desire and nature, means that is what? Impression of nature. Correct. Impression of nature means that subject what we want, like whatever suppose a car or a building or whatever.
So now he is talking about when is that going to happen?
Yeah, the union.
Union is made in a point.
Nature matter. The union is made in a point of nature matter, which has been carried by desire into the mental atmosphere. Union can occur only when the light is sufficiently focused, and this happens at the moment between the in-breathing and the out-breathing of the physical breath, at which time all the breaths are in phase. Correct. So this happens only during the in-breath, out-breath focusing.
Correct. Okay. Now he is taking us into the organs.
Thoughts, desire, and the heart.
Correct. So how does it impact the heart, the thoughts and desires?
Desire comes into the heart, impressed with getting or avoiding an act, or avoiding an act, an object, or an event. Okay. So desire comes into the heart, impressed with getting or avoiding an act, an object, or an event. So it can be an act or object or an event.
Hmm.
This desire is the subject of the thought, and it has in it nature matter of the physical world furnished by the senses of the body. So it all material things. Desire
Correct.
is subjected of the thought, and it has innate nature matter of the physical world furnished by the senses of the body. The desire itself is matter of the psychic atmosphere. Rightness and reason allows drawing in of matter of the mental atmosphere, and the knower allows the drawing of the matter of the noetic atmosphere. Then there is the light of intelligence. So basically here, after the rightness and reason, when it draws the matter into the mental atmosphere, after it says, okay, rightness, then it knower allows the drawing of the matter into the noetic atmosphere where it gets the light.
Correct. I mean, we already discussed this actually.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Is
I
for
mean,
the
the entire sequence from the
Yes.
kidneys, how does it travel out and how does it come back?
This is the kind of a final from the noetic atmosphere.
Correct.
Therefore, when a thought is conceived in the heart, it has in it actually matter of all the worlds, of all the atmospheres of the triune self and the light of intelligence.
Correct.
It has further potentially a structure which, though yet non-existent, will accord later with the systems of the three factors of which it is composed. The desire is no longer desire, but is a part of a new entity, and can therefore, when it is united to light, ascend in the body to regions to which it could not go as a desire. So when it is unified with the light, it is no more desire, he's saying, isn't
What
it?
is he saying? No.
Mm.
The desire is no longer desire, but
Yeah.
is part of a new entity.
Mhm.
And can,
when it is united with the light,
therefore, when it is united, that means when it has got the clarity,
Yes.
ascend in the body to regions to which it could not go as desire.
Yes.
It can't go as desire.
It ascended with the light, it unified with the light, so it has
Correct.
ascended to become manifest.
Because feeling and desire are part of the physical environment.
Yes.
If it has to travel out, it can't go as desire,
Yes.
right? It has to go as light, it has to go as elementals that is traveling pertaining to the emotions, which is the astral body. Then it has to go as the light of intelligence to the mental body, get the clarity, all those, because they have to change in their composition.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The newly conceived thought goes by the joint action of the blood, the breath, and the nerves in the both systems to the cerebellum.
Correct.
There
So
are
how is
there,
it going? Just look at this. The newly goes by the joint action of blood,
Blood and the breath.
and nerves in both the systems.
Hmm.
What is this both the systems?
Oh,
Voluntary and involuntary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Voluntary and involuntary. Yeah. Let's proceed. Yeah.
There the thought is gestated for a short
Or a long
for a
time.
long
Depends.
time.
Correct.
Yeah. Then it passes into the cerebrum and into the ventricles of the brain, where it is elaborated and matured.
Correct. So thought has now become an idea.
Yeah. Finally, it is born and sent forth through the frontal sinuses at a point above the nose.
Correct.
Not only elementals and one's own thought, but thought from other persons entered through the openings and nerve centers in the body. By whatever gate elementals enter, they cannot go farther than the adrenals. The last thing they do is to leave their impress on desire before it starts towards the heart.
Correct.
It is different with thoughts from others. They go beyond the adrenals and enter the heart itself, because in them is light of intelligence. In the heart, they are either approved or disapproved by rightness.
Hmm.
If they are disapproved, they are expelled through one of the openings with the outward breath. So basically, when it is approved, we just, that's okay, from our outgoing breath, it is gone. If they are approved, or if rightness suffers desire to have its way, they are entertained in the heart and then pass on to the cerebellum, as does a newly conceived thought.
Hmm.
In the brain, they can be nourished, weakened, or slightly modified. Their aim cannot be changed, but their design can be varied. The aim cannot be changed, but their design can be varied. They are issued through the frontal sinuses like thoughts that are newly born.
Hmm.
Thoughts of one's own return to him from time to time. Once a thought has been conceived, gestated, and issued, it remains in the mental atmosphere of the one who created it. It circulates in the atmosphere and may re-enter the body from time to time. So it stays, it remains in the mental atmosphere. Once it is issued, it enters through the breath and does not again pass through the lower stages of thinking by which it became a thought. This ends the description of the generation of a thought, which may be the conception, gestation, and birth of one's own thought, or the reception, entertainment, and issue of a thought generated by someone else or by oneself in the past. So basically, this is how the thought generation happens.
So here,
this
sir, one
completes
question.
this chapter. Yeah, Kirti.
So here can you scroll a little bit up to the part where one's own thoughts of one's own return to him from time to time. So here,
Correct.
this sentence is referring to the other people's thought, which we have accepted in our heart, and that has now settled into our mental field, and it is sitting there.
It is sitting there. But if it is your own thought, it will come back to you.
Then it also says that somebody
those which are not being acted upon. See,
I didn't get you.
If this is the condition. If they are disapproved, they are expelled through one of the openings with the outward breath. If they are approved, or if rightness suffers desire to have its way, what is this? This is basically the body-mind ruling over the sanity.
That we are accepting.
Correct. So we are giving into the desire. They are entertained in the heart and then pass to the cerebellum, as does a newly conceived thought.
So it is turning into our own thought, right? Conceived thought.
Correct. No, here there is no discrimination whether it is your own or others' thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a newly conceived thought.
Now, in the brain, okay, in the brain, what is happening? Let us look. They can be nourished, weakened, or slightly modified. Okay. Their aim cannot be changed, but their design can be varied. They are issued through the frontal sinuses like thoughts that are newly born. Now, when this modification is taking place, right, thoughts of one's own return to him from time to time.
Now it has become the one who has totally adapted it.
Correct. Because the responsibility of balancing the thought that has been issued, right, it becomes his responsibility to resolve them. Okay. So that is, once a thought has been conceived, gestated, and issued, it remains in the mental atmosphere of the one who created it. It circulates in the atmosphere and may re-enter the body from time to time. It will come back. Whenever that desire gets triggered, that thought will come back. Got it?
Yeah. Hey, this is what the uninvited influences, thoughts are entering
Exactly.
into us
Yeah.
and settling into us.
Correct.
This
So
is why
with
we
this,
need
we
to
will stop
consciously
today.
reject
Okay.
it. Mm.
Yeah. With this, we stop. I also have to get into something else. And fortunately, we have come to the end of the chapter. Go through the recording because this becomes the basis of our discussion tonight. This is also going to feed into what we are doing in the night sessions. Okay?
Yes, US morning sessions.
We are US morning session. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So today we are concluding a little bit earlier. Ideally, I would have gone into the next chapter, but there is some other engagement that was not planned for that is happening.
No, it's fine. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, sir.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry
Thank you, sir.
about that.
Yeah.
No
Cool.
problem, sir.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you for giving time.
No,
Thank you,
perfect.
sir. Thank you.
Thanks,
So much.
Sandy.
Have a wonderful
Balaga.
day. Have a wonderful
Balaga.
night.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Balagaru left.
Okay.